What's going on, everybody? Steve here, Rake and Profit over at rakeandprofit.com, coming back to you with another live video. And today we are joined by my good friends, Dan Metters and Eric Lambert of the Wholesale Formula. And I'm sure these guys look familiar because we have been releasing a whole bunch of videos together over the last 3 weeks or so. And I'm super inspired for this video because we're going to be covering the #1 way to get started in wholesale in 2019. We've talked about all different types of topics from, choosing suppliers, finding hot selling products, how to scale your business. We've talked about eBay versus wholesale. We've covered so many different things, but today we're really going to bring it together and we're going to break down the exact steps, actions, and what you need to do today to make sure that you get started with this business and you start to see results. And it's been so inspiring. I've had the chance to interview quite a few of the Wholesale Formula students, from Emeric, who did $700,000 his first year after taking Dan and Eric's course. I talked to David Wosick recently, who scaled his business to over $6.1 million. I think that's been about 3 years or so. Talked to my buddy Sean Humanchuk, who is now doing $45,000 to $50,000 a month wholesale after taking Dan and Eric's course, the Wholesale Formula. I interviewed Jonathan David, who that video is actually going to be coming probably tomorrow, and he's scaled up to 7 figures. And I've just interviewed so many amazing people who have taken Dan and Eric's course that we had to wrap things up right now. It's launch week. Their course is available and it's open until February 21st. I'm not going to talk a ton about that now because what we want to do is just add a bunch of value, answer your guys' questions, and really go through the steps of how to get started with wholesale. But before we jump into it, Dan and Eric, what is going on? Welcome to the show. Great to have you here.
Hey, brother, we're happy to be here and happy to share some value with your guys' audience.
Super pumped up. What you been up to, Eric, man? How's life treating you?
Really good. It's I'm feeling really good. Just got back for a little family vacation down in Gatlinburg, Tennessee. We had a little cabin, we'll set up. It was a nice little weekend, but feeling good, ready to do some good work here on this on this webinar.
That's awesome. Super excited. So if you guys are excited for the show, and I'm looking left because I'm actually looking at the chat. So I will be taking a look at the comments. If you guys are excited for this show, drop a 1 in the comments right now if you're super pumped up, because I'm telling you right now, we have got some amazing content for you. And just so you guys know, like I said, I'm going to talk about it more at the end. Dan and Eric, they've done over $20 million wholesale over the last 5 years. They started with $600 investment and they've scaled that to $20 million. They're just like you guys. At one point, they were doing retail arbitrage and thrifting and doing all that stuff. But the problem was they were spending so much time having to find products and it wasn't super scalable. And there's all different types of issues, from restrictions, so on and so forth. I mean, what are some other reasons why you guys moved from retail arbitrage to wholesale?
Well, I was going to say the main reason, there were 2 main reasons. Obviously, retail arbitrage requires time on the road, buying the product. So getting off the road and spending more time with our family was key. And then also for us, particularly the way we sourced, retail arbitrage was pretty weak in the summer for us. We were very quarter 4 centric. So we just had time and capital and wanted to make our money work when we were unable to make it work with the retail arbitrage. In fact, I'd love to tell you that we were convinced wholesale model was going to work. We just switched off RA one day and wholesale. That's not the way it worked. It took some trial and error, and we still did RA for a while until we got our feet in wholesale and things of that nature. So, those are the 2 major factors for me, starting out the wholesale.
For me, it was the primary factor was, again, like Eric, was getting off the road. Just not being able to spend time with our families, regardless. Whenever we were doing it, we were making great money, but we weren't able to spend any of that money with our families. We weren't able to spend time, and that's why we were in business, is to have, the freedom to be able to spend time with our families. And then just for us, it was the lack of scalability, like to truly scale retail arbitrage. And it just there's so many moving parts, and it's just so much harder to scale. Whereas something more leverageable like wholesale just made a lot of sense. Like, we don't have to, the more we crank the lever with wholesale, we're able to see a windfall of sales as opposed to just a little bit more.
Right, right. So Eric, why don't you tell everybody what types of results are you guys getting in your business right now? Because I had the privilege, if you guys didn't see the video, I did a complete walkthrough of their office. You guys got a pretty cool setup over there. You've got some great employees. You've got a really cool business model that you're running out of your office in Corbin, Kentucky. What types of results are you getting in your business currently right now? And how much time do you guys actually spend in the business, which is pretty cool?
Well, our business has been in a bit of a transition over the last year. For the people that don't know, we closed our warehouse down in July of last year, so it's not even been a year now. So that kind of shifted the way we source products. So we're sourcing a little differently because versus the cost of running a warehouse versus the cost of a fulfillment center. So we source a little differently, and which has caused our revenue to go down. But the funny thing is, our profit is up despite lower revenue, because we are, there were a lot of products we were carrying that we had to continually restock so that the warehouse workers were continually working. So like the margin wasn't that great, but it's better than them standing around. So now that we didn't have that pressure of having to have that constant overhead month over month that goes along with a warehouse, we were able to really focus on the relationships with the vendors, sourcing better products, just putting our energy into better avenues. And in terms of like how much time we work on the business, it's embarrassing, really. I mean, honestly, like it's just whenever they need us, which is pretty rarely.
It was actually great. For what it's worth, I just talked to Kendra yesterday, and she said
she's one of our two
Amazon employees.
Yeah.
And she said that was our most profitable month ever. And I can actually say that I spent 0 hours last month on our business.
Yeah. So there you are. Like we don't, we're not really plugged into the day to day. We get briefed, we get meetings just to kind of get broad strokes. And if there are any issues, obviously we get consulted, but in terms of actively working in it, it's just, that's not a thing.
Yeah, I think that wholesale is an amazing opportunity right now, especially it just seems like Amazon is really not liking the traditional like thrifter or RA seller right now. There's a lot of restrictions that are going on. There's all these different IP claims and different issues right now. So talk a little bit about what it's like as a wholesale seller when you actually have that invoice or the approval from the manufacturer. Because again, after especially after talking with Jonathan David, and his interview is going to be coming out tomorrow. He's doing 7 figures after taking your guys' course. It's really trending towards like Amazon really pushing these RA, even OA thrifters away because of these issues that I was talking about. So what are your thoughts on that?
Well, it's one of those things. I don't think Amazon is actively pushing RA and OA sellers out so much as they're raising the burden of proof to make sure that people are sourcing products responsibly. And when you do that, I mean, when you think about that, being able to buy direct from the manufacturer, brand owner, is the best possible invoice that you can get. But that comforts Amazon, like it comforts Amazon as well, because they know that your products are real, authentic, and that they're sourced correctly. So over the course of time, like I think the bar will continue to go up, and it's going to continue to get that they're going to be more aggressive about pushing invoices. But that, for us, that has been actually amazing, because what it's done is it's helped us. These types of restrictions, we're able to quickly navigate through them. Like, if we get a claim, a counterfeit claim or inauthentic claim or something like that, we're able to get the invoices. And in most cases, we can just contact the manufacturer, get them to write a letter for us on our behalf. And they'll say, these guys are approved sellers. They purchase a product directly from us. And we're able to resolve those claims really quickly. But for what that does, what that does for Amazon is it reinstills that customer confidence. If you remember, over the past couple of years, they've had a lot of issues in the marketplace about counterfeit products and things like that. So I think that over the course of time, Amazon's going to continue to raise that bar and make it harder for sellers to sell products that don't have these types of invoices.
Yeah, I'm going to hit you with a real quick analogy, to further Dan's point in terms of like, I mean, the thing is, I don't think they're out for RA sellers per se. In fact, they would like their shelves stocked with as many products as possible. Imagine if you owned a consignment store, right? And so, which is other people bring their products in for sale, and you sell them, but you had this one customer or one vendor that set up products, and a customer kept coming in saying, these are fake, these are fake, these are fake. What would you do? You would shut that person down, right? And it's the same thing.
Exactly.
It's the customer, Amazon they don't own the product, so they can't verify. All they got to, is you to go from. So if they can't verify it, ironclad, well, that's a poor customer experience. So they'd rather expend you than the customer.
Yeah, it's just becoming so annoying selling on Amazon as a thrifter because, as everybody knows right now, I go to thrift stores and garage sales and flea markets, and sometimes I buy off Craigslist. And I've also been doing a lot of books where I buy off of Amazon and sell on Amazon. Man, if you guys were seeing inside of my account recently, it's just a nightmare. Like every single day, something's going stranded. Every single day, something's getting restricted. Every single day, there's this issue, or I'm getting this company's contacting me asking for an invoice and you don't have approval to sell it. So I've been in business long enough to kind of see, regardless of the reason, that what I'm currently doing right now on Amazon, it's getting harder and harder. And for anyone who's watching, I'm not just saying this to scare you guys. Like I've been doing this for over 6 years now. Like when I started doing this, thrifting and RA 6 years ago, this was not the case at all. It's becoming harder and harder and harder. It's even happening with books now. Mama Profit's starting to get hit by different books. It's in the inventory and she spends whatever on the book, and now it's restricted and you can't get approved. So I see it. I definitely see it trending. But I wanted to mention before we get into the like the meat and potatoes of this video, because we're going to kind of fly through like some of the steps you guys need to get started. I want to let you guys know that I'm going to be giving away 2 $100 cash to your PayPal giveaways at the end of this video. So if you guys stick around for probably another 45 minutes, I'm going to choose 2 lucky winners. I'm going to ask some questions. So make sure you're listening, take some notes. And if you win, I'm going to send you $100 and then the second person as well. So if you guys are ready to rock and roll, do us a big favor and smash that like button down below. But let's dive right into it. So the number one thing I would say that you need to do before you get started, or if you're getting started, is to make sure that you have a proven blueprint. So either one, go through Dan and Eric's course. I'm not saying you have to. I'm not saying that's the only route to be successful, but make sure you have a blueprint, whether that's the Wholesale Formula course, a mentor, maybe somebody who has already gone through that path, or a community. I don't know what your guys' thoughts are, because I know when you first got started, I mean, I don't know if you had taken a course or what you did, but I know it took quite a bit of time for you guys to have success.
Yeah, for sure. We've taken, dozens of courses and training materials and
continue.
Yeah. But
like when we got started, there wasn't a great course for wholesale out there. And we had to kind of fumble through a lot of that on our own. Like we went, we did all the traditional stuff. We searched on Google, we went to trade shows, and then, just not much of it worked. And we kind of had to figure a lot of that stuff out on our own to be able to get started. I'm with you though. I think community support and having a mentor is pretty pivotal right now. And it's funny because, one of the things that people always talk about is, is the Amazon marketplace getting more competitive? Absolutely. Like the Amazon marketplace gets more competitive all the time. And I think that's why you need support like that. I think that's, you need support from a community or a mentor who's been there and continues to innovate. Like one of the big, honestly, for us, whenever we're talking about the wholesale formula, one of the biggest selling points of the wholesale formula is how often we update it, right? Just constantly. We've updated it every single time we've released it. And a lot of those updates come from within our community, because we have an active community of 3,000 people that are constantly talking about new ideas, how to innovate here, how to get better acceptance rates with vendors. Like, and that, to be honest, I think that's what it takes to be at the forefront and be extremely successful in this marketplace.
Yeah. When it comes to, flipping stuff on eBay or sending in some books or doing some basic stuff, like there's definitely YouTube videos out there that you could watch. And I'm one of the biggest fans of free information. Hey, look, I have a YouTube channel where I give away free information. But when it comes to certain business models, especially wholesale, or if you start getting into private label, or you're going to start a Shopify store, there's certain things where there is a lot of different things that you need to know, right? And there's ways that you can lose your shirt if you're not careful. You need to have a mentor. You need to have a course. You need to have a community. This is my personal opinion, I would not start either of those business models that I mentioned without having somebody to kind of take you by the hand and walk through it. So I'm not trying to turn this into a sales pitch or anything, but I've been working with these guys for over 4 years. I've interviewed multiple of their students. I've gone through their course. If you're looking to start wholesale, I would definitely look into their program. There is a link down below in the description. But reason number 2, and this is big right here, and this kills me, guys. And I'm sure as someone who has created courses, and I've got courses and programs and even YouTube videos that are free, people, they'll go through a course or they'll watch a video, but they won't get any results because they won't take action. And the problem is they don't have a real reason why. They don't have a goal. What advice would you give to somebody out there who wants to start wholesale? They want to start a business, but they always seem to start something and get excited, but then they quit and give up. How do you take that person who's so used to doing that and actually get them to take action?
For me, it's just remembering why you got started, right? Like the question that you should ask yourself if you're going to start a new course is, why am I starting this course, or why am I taking this action, right? And whenever you think about it from that perspective, is if you do nothing, what changes? Nothing. Like, your life's the same way it was before you got started, right? And if you get started and you give up, still nothing's changed. So to see results, I feel like you just have to focus on why you started doing it in the first place, and look at the end and where you're going. And for us, the best example is we wanted to create a business, and we did it. And then as we grew our business, the logic was, why did we want a business in the first place? We wanted more freedom. We wanted more time to spend with our families, but we realized that our business wasn't taking us there. And then we decided we had to make a change. And the whole time, like, it's a scary process. Like, whenever you do those things, it's always scary when you make changes, when you do something new. But for us, it was remembering why we wanted to do it. And that was, we wanted to spend more time with our families. We wanted to have a business that had leverage, and we wanted to have a business that could grow and scale without spending more time. And and that was our why. So I think that whenever, people in this position are considering it, they just have to focus on what got them there in the first place.
Yeah. And I want to ask the people right now in the comments, I want to know, I'm getting a little personal with you guys, but I'm curious, type in the comments, what is your number one reason why you want to start a wholesale business? Or what's the number one reason why you want to run a successful business? Maybe it's your family, right? Maybe it's you want to have the freedom to, travel, or maybe you've got a little daughter who's always wanted to go to Disney World, right? I want to know what's that number one burning desire, because really, I don't care what business you're starting. If you do not have that burning desire, you're not going to be successful. You've got to know what you're doing it for. And it's crazy. Like, Eric, did you ever imagine, man, like, I don't know your entire backstory, but did you ever imagine that you would have like a 7-figure Amazon business? Like, how has it changed your life? Like, do you kind of remember that point where like things started to change and you're like, wow, like this is possible?
I don't even know if I've fully like taken the time to grasp where we are. I mean, we had it just haven't slowed down enough. But no, I mean, by and large, no. The answer, the thing is, I played poker for a long time, and then had a job for about a year working with Dan, and then from there it's bloomed into this, But and the thing is it's not about the business that the amount of money that is impressive to me. It's the amount of money that has allowed me to surround me with such good people. Like, I have such a good team here. Like, it's amazing. What we've been able to accomplish in that regard. The money, yeah, sure, it's fine, but like, I mean, there's plenty they make that every day. But the people that I have, on our team here, that's the opportunity that's been the most rewarding for me. I mean, I always knew that I would either be rich or homeless. I mean, I just always had this feeling. I mean, risk doesn't bother me. I've just always been, for better or worse, I just wasn't going to grind away. I just knew it. I was not going to be. I just couldn't do it. To my soul wouldn't do it. I would be better off. It's just the way I was going to be. Yeah. So anyhow, it's been phenomenal. I'm not even sure I've even taken the time to fully grasp it, to be honest with you.
Yeah. But once you guys find that reason why and that burning desire, then you've got to find yourself a strategy, and you've got to get committed. I mean, at the end of the day, wholesale might not be for you. It really depends on your goals. Like, if you're watching this right now and you're like, Steve, I love thrifting. I love the treasure hunt. I want to go find, like Dan said in one of our videos, like, you might find a gold brick. Like, you never know. Like, it's not all about the money. It's about your goals. But if you're looking for a business that allows you to be able to travel, have your freedom, something that's more scalable, something that's not such, like, the thing with eBay and like flipping books and thrifting electronics, it's kind of like you own a job in a sense, right? Whereas when you start to transition to business models such as wholesale, you really are running a business. Because one of the cool things I love about wholesale, and Dan was showing me a lot behind the scenes, is like, literally, like, he was showing me some of the craziest products that you guys are selling, but literally you build a relationship with a brand or a manufacturer, you put the deal together, and we're going to talk about it. And once you do, and once you find that product, it just keeps coming back to you. You're not having to consistently go out there and source the products every single time. Do you mind sharing with people a little bit about that process and kind of like how wholesale works?
Yeah, no, that's the thing is I was talking the other day about, and I really like this analogy is, you can make a ton of money in retail arbitrage, of course. And I wanted to, before I tell you this little analogy, is also want to say you don't have to necessarily be passionate about it. This can be something you use to build capital. We weren't passionate about RA, or we were for a short period of time, but then it became like we wanted to go in a different direction. So we used the capital that we used in that model and to springboard into wholesale, and for us. So like it can be used whatever capacity. It doesn't have to be your burning passion, of course. I mean, at this point, it's not even really our burning passion anymore. We've used that to springboard to help people, which is something we are passionate about. It's just about, moving the needle along for you. Because I mean, at the end of the day, money is a prerequisite to certain opportunities, and so
absolutely.
You're right. So you may need to build more capital to get to that, and so there can be an avenue for that. But I wanted to circle back with the analogy of it's like the difference is retail arbitrage. Dan and I go out for this whole month. We spend a ton of money, and let's say we make $4,000.
Monster. Let's say we have a monster month.
Yeah, let's say we make $5,000 profit, which is fantastic, right? But then month 2 rolls around, I go back to zero, and all the work I put in that month equals my bottom line. But with wholesale now, I've spent my month and I've acquired, let's say, 2 accounts. That's going to make me, $3,000 profit. Now I start month 2 with $3,000 profit banked. And every account I get this month now adds to that total. Let's say a couple more accounts, it's another $3,000. So now it's 6,000. I start month 3 with 6,000. RA is starting back over with zero. Even if they had a great month again, there's no continued or guaranteed success in RA in the future. There's consistency, scalability, and cash flow, things that you can depend on with wholesale. And I think that analogy right there really said exactly. You can start understanding the compounding factor that we're talking about here, so that you're finding sourcing the same as you RA, but that sourcing remains constant for you, and you get to add your new sourcing onto it rather than having to find things to replace that original sourcing.
And a huge misconception people have, and I actually had this misconception when I started learning about wholesale myself, is you think to yourself like, well, what if somebody just comes in and like jumps on the listing, or it's got to be so easy. Like, what's going to stop the next wholesaler from coming and like ripping your price apart? There's all these different things that go along with wholesale, such as like map pricing. A lot of brands only allow a certain amount of sellers. Most wholesalers are going about things the complete wrong way. They're buying lists. They're doing all these kind of amateur things. And what you guys do, and this is the big key differentiator, make sure you're taking notes, is what Dan and Eric are doing is they're helping brands. Think about it. There's millions and millions of products that are on Amazon. Most of them you don't even know exist, but they sell really, really well. Here's the thing. Most of the brands and manufacturers are in the business of creating and improving products. They're not in the business of doing keyword research and internet marketing and listing and photography and optimizing listings. Like for us, Amazon is easy, but most brands and manufacturers who are putting products on Amazon don't know how to do this. So, Dan, why don't you talk about the process and like how it does kind of increase the barrier to entry and keeps your profits up by working with brands? Because when you work with a brand, you can get a product that maybe only 2 or 3 sellers are on, and you've got that consistent cash flow. Because this is a huge misconception. People think that wholesale's it's like private label. Everyone just copy each other and jump on a listing. It's completely different.
Sure. No, and it's not just that they don't, back to your question, it's not just that they don't know how to. It's, whenever we work with brands, we're incredibly transparent about all the things we do. Like we share, our strategy, how we're going to help them, grow and increase their product sales and reach. But it's not that they don't know how. They don't want to do that. It's just inefficient. Like brands concentrate on getting into more channels or more marketplaces. They concentrate on marketing their product as a whole to a global mass, or it's not. They don't want to necessarily focus on an individual channel. But for us, your question was, how do we help them? Like what we do is when we talk to a brand, we don't want to be just another seller of their product. Like I'm not going to them and hoping just to add on as an additional seller. The best answer that we can hear when I reach out to a brand, the best answer that I can hear is, no, we're not interested in working with you. We're not interested in working with more Amazon sellers. What that tells me is, number one, that they've had bad experiences with Amazon sellers. And number two, that they care about their brand a lot, and they understand that adding more sellers doesn't necessarily add more sales. So that gives me an opportunity right there to set myself apart, right? So from there, what we're able to do is we're able to talk to them and come to them with a plan to help them increase their sales. For example, if let's say I'd reached out to you and you'd said, we're not interested in working with any more Amazon sellers. I could look at your listing and I could say, hey, Steve, I realize that you guys aren't interested in working with more Amazon sellers. And I actually think that's a great idea. But what you actually need is better Amazon sellers. See, here's the problem with your current listing. Currently, you don't have enough pictures. Your title isn't optimized. Your listing isn't optimized. And we can go through a bevy of things to show them how they could be making more sales, increase their reach, and just have a better featured product on Amazon. Now, does that mean Steve's going to say yes? Not necessarily, but I promise you this, he is significantly more likely to say yes. And whenever he does say yes, and we're able to deliver that value, what we've done is not only because bear in mind that Steve's been selling his product to Amazon sellers for years now, and none of them have helped him. But by coming in and delivering that value and actually doing the things that we said we're going to do, not only is Steve going to be excited about working with us, he's going to be significantly more excited about working with us than another seller. So it's, that's our strategy, is we want to work with brands to help them increase their marketplace presence.
And what's crazy, I think it was David Wosick I was talking to. Was it David, or it might have been Jonathan? I interviewed so many of your guys' students because I wanted to figure out, does this actually work? There's so many courses out there. There's so many people making promises. I literally went and busted my butt to find out the truth. And I forget who I was talking to. It might have been, was it Sean Humanchuk? It was Sean Humanchuk, who I interviewed. He's doing $45,000, $50,000 a month after taking your course. He told me he literally only works with like a couple brands. Like, a lot of you guys might be thinking, and I thought this as well, like, I'm going to have to constantly go out there and find new brands and find, new manufacturers, or mostly brands. And it's going to be like a huge job. Like, his business changed when he found two really good brands, because brands have multiple products. And if you could get in and you can help them, like, he has one product, and this is a great tip that he shared with me on the video. He says, look for bigger, oversized items, because a lot of people avoid those. You guys, his one product is making him over $2,000 profit per month every single month. Like, it's crazy. Like, to make $2,000 a month profit every single month doing thrifting, like, how many products that would like take? Like, I want to know in the comments, guys, how would your life change if you were making if you had one or two or three products that was making you an extra $2,000-$3,000 a month? Like, $3,000 a month, that's $36,000 a year just on one product. So Eric, I'm curious, let's just say right now, and I'm not trying to get all wishy-washy, but like, I feel like the key to being successful in anything is first you got to envision, like, what's it going to be like? Don't worry about how am I going to start a wholesale business and all the 57 steps, but you've got to almost envision like a realistic dream of like, wow, imagine I joined the Wholesale Formula and I went through the course, and, I know it's going to be hard and sometimes I want to quit, but I kept going, and 3-6 months down the road, I had a couple brands and I was making an extra $4,000 or $5,000 a month, or maybe $10,000 a month. Like, imagine what that would be like. Like, what is that like when you finally do lock down that deal and maybe you have a product that's selling? Like, how much work is it to maintain that relationship? Like, do you just have to hit a button to order another 1,000 that you ship in, or do you have to constantly renegotiate every month?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, fortunately, like, that's the beauty of this model too, is like, I even just addressed this question the other day. Like, we've only ordered 1,000 of anything, like a handful of times. Like, that's, people get overwhelmed sometimes thinking I've got to order thousands of units and spend this minimum orders. But we do 30-day supplies, and most of our unit orders are, in the, 80 to maybe 150 range tops, right? So like, so I wanted to make sure that people aren't hearing that I'm ordering thousands of units all the time. It's all this money. That's not the case, even at the point we're at in our level. So that's a bit of a misconception that I wanted to shoot down there. But that's the thing of it. Yeah, no, that's, because people think, have that preconceived notion, if you will. So what was the original question?
Well, I mean, I got it. Okay. It was
I just wanted to point that out because I know it's a big thing for people.
Yeah. No, like once you do have a product, like once you have a good deal that's down, like how much work does it take to maintain that relationship? Like, again, with thrifting and all that, like I've got to constantly go out and find it again. But once you do lock down that deal, let's just pretend that you're Sean Humanchuk. You lock down this oversized deal. It's making you $2,000 a month. Like, how much work is he having to do to continue to replenish when inventory starts getting low?
That's for us, that was the value of wholesale, right? Is because we're not going to lie. There is a significant amount of work on the front end to set up these relationships, right? Like, first you have to find the products, you have to contact the manufacturers, you have to establish those relationships. But when you do it, like, now that Sean's landed that account, to make another order and to make another $2,000 the next month, he literally has to pick up the phone and probably talk to them a total of 5 minutes.
Yeah, possibly an email too.
And potentially just an email.
Like we've got.
So what do you say? Like you just say, like, I'm running low. Like I want to re-up.
You know, whenever we want to place a reorder, what we do is we'll send them an email and you know, tell them how it's been going with their product, you know, some of the things we've seen, and then say, you know, we'd like to order another 120 units. And that's it. That is literally the entire process. And that for us, that was the real kicker is, you know, when you were talking about it earlier, how many products would it take you to do that with thrifting? How much time would it take you to make $2,000 in a month? And I mean,
it depends, but yeah, a lot.
Hours and hours and hours. Whereas with wholesale, and that's the true part of leverage, right? Is once you've established that account, it's just leverage time. At that point, I can pick up the phone or send a quick email, and I can make money the next month and the month after that.
Yeah. I'm reading some of the comments right now. We got Ray as the entrepreneur saying, "Love you guys, love what you guys do, appreciate that." I think Ray as the entrepreneur just hit like 150,000 subscribers. So congratulations! Wow. Yeah, great to have you here. He's been crushing it lately. A couple million viewed videos. We got the man from Tune in the house, Candace Hicks, saying, if I was making an extra couple $1,000s a month, or maybe 10,000, I forgot what I said. She says, "Oh, I would eat so much steak."
Yes.
It's crazy though. But you know, back to what we were talking about, like if you're happy with your business right now and you're happy with how things are going, like we're not saying to switch businesses, but what we're saying is like, if you're looking for something different, if you want to travel more, if you want to grow your business, if you want to change, you are going to have to change either the business you're doing or how you're doing business, right? So hopefully you guys are enjoying this video. And I did want to say right now, for anyone who is coming in, I'm going to be giving away 2 $100 cash payments to your PayPal. I love giving away freebies. But what I need you guys to do over the next half hour, I'm going to be picking 2 winners. And what you need to do to enter is ask a question for Dan and Eric that's related to wholesale or business or how it's changed their lives or their students' lives of the wholesale formula. And I'm going to pick 2 thoughtful answers, 2 questions that I feel
we're in the run. It's answers.
No, you guys can't win. You guys can't win. But yeah, really think about it. Like think about starting a wholesale business. Think about how it would change your life. Think about maybe some of the preliminary questions you have and ask away, because I'm really going to give away some money and I'm going to choose someone who has a really thoughtful question. So Miguel says going to eat steak with that $100. So another person is going to be eating steak.
Nice.
So when you first start a wholesale business, do you have to is it smart to set up like an LLC and a business address and get your license first? Is that one of the preliminary steps you'd recommend? Yeah,
without doubt. It's not mandatory, but you know, it's a little bit extra time is all. But yeah, I would suggest it, because at the end of the day, starting your mentality off right as a business is going to lend yourself to, you know, as you're talking about, you have to envision success. Well, part of that is if you're envisioning having this business, well, then you should start as a business, right? I mean, you can't end as a business if you don't start as one, or, you know, if you don't become one at some point. So you may as well start as one. And it just saves a lot of headache. I mean, that's just from experience, and I don't want to get into the details of it. But, you know, we do recommend setting it up as a business, a LLC, straight from the beginning, and then conduct yourself first step as a business person.
Excellent. Awesome. We got a question from Captain Cellulite. What an interesting name. And Captain is asking, do you use U.S. wholesalers or overseas wholesalers to supply your business? I'll give that one over to Dan.
Yeah, that's one of the biggest misconceptions, I think, is how we source products. Like we use a strategy called reverse sourcing wholesale. And instead of looking through lists of catalogs or big bevies of wholesalers, what we do is we go on Amazon, we find products that are already working well, and then we contact that brand directly and establish a relationship. So we don't go through traditional wholesalers like you would imagine, but the vast majority of companies that we deal with, and by that I mean probably 98% of the companies that we deal with, are U.S. based, and we're able to restock and place those orders within and get those products delivered to Amazon within a week's time most of the time.
Awesome. Here we got a great question from the man from Tune asking, and I'll hand this one over to Eric. The man from Tune says, my biggest worry is that I'm not a great salesman. How does the Wholesale Formula course help me close deals? So this is great, because there's a lot of people who feel like, oh, I don't have the confidence. Like I'm going to be new. I'm not going to know the terminology. Like I don't feel like I'm a good I don't know how to pitch products and do things like that. So like, what are your thoughts on that for someone who feels that way?
Well, the unfortunate thing is that you're going to get better with experience. That's just the way things are. You'll get better as you do it. But the great thing is for those first ones, with all this doubt that you have, that all this reservation that you have, the course lays out these strategies and the ideas. So you have a concept. It gives examples. So obviously, so not for copy and paste, but so you can understand like, this is the subject matter that they're looking for. This is the kind of like concise little email they're going. So you have we provide really good templates, really good ideas, starting points. So, what I'm going to tell you is you'll be much better on a call 3 months from now than you are today. That's just, just like anything. The more you do it, the more confidence you'll gain and the more comfortable you'll be. But we do start you off with the most informed that you can be going into those conversations, and we have plenty of people. That's the thing is like, that's why I wanted to point out it may just be an email, because there are people that are intimidated getting on the phone. We have several students that don't even fool with the phone at all. We do it, and we do a proponent of it because Dan is good on the phone. I'm actually terrible on the phone, so I'm an awful salesman. Like I am. It's like, listen, you can take it or leave it. I don't know. I'm just not a great salesman. Dan is, and so. And that's why our success is a lot of it, the phone is just where he's more comfortable. We got plenty of students that operate exclusively via email. They're just better and more comfortable typing. Their voice comes through better. And, so I guess that's a long-winded answer to just say that.
For what it's worth, it's like, I don't think anybody starts out at being good at sales.
Nobody.
Like that's, it's an uncomfortable situation. It's always awkward. But what we've done is within the Wholesale Formula is we applied the actual best framework we've ever found for having a conversation, having a sales style conversation. And that framework, what it does is it really just dials in your message and make sure that you're able to articulate the points that you need to have an effective conversation. So if you just follow that framework, it will help you have those conversations and convert those style accounts.
Every single one of your students that I interviewed, from Americ, who's now doing, I think he did like 1.2 million last year after taking the course. It's been 3 years he's been doing it. David Wosick, Sean Humanchuk, Ian Bauer, Jonathan David, each and every single one of them said, I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know any of the terminology that they were talking about on the phone. I was terrified. I think Americ, he didn't even speak English at the time, I feel like. But each one of them said, and I'm not just saying this to pimp your course, I'm being 100% honest. They said, what we did is every time I didn't know something or I had a question, I went into the exclusive Wholesale Formula community, because you guys have a private Facebook group for students only. And you guys have like over 3,000 students in the course. Every single time they hit a roadblock and they didn't know what they were doing, they posted a question in the group and they said either you, Dan or Eric, or one of the students or one of your teammates answered it pretty quickly, and they got over the hurdle. So if you guys are nervous about wholesale in general, regardless if you use the Wholesale Formula, find a mentor or find a free community or find someone who you can talk to, because when you start a wholesale business, you're going to get hit with roadblock or question or issue or challenge or terminology, or you're just not going to know. But the key is you just got to get over that roadblock. So just wanted to mention that there. Jeremy Malu says, how many wholesaler no's did you get until your first yes? So let's go back into history of when you guys first started, or maybe you could even give an example of maybe one of your students. But how many no's we'll go with your student. How many no's is your typical student getting until they get a yes, would you say?
What we find is on top, like this, it's a really subjective question. Like,
I know.
We actually appreciate, it's kind of funny because we really do want them to say no. So it's like, I appreciate the no's. And whenever they say yes, it's more of like a mark of caution for us, because they're not just telling us yes, they're telling everybody yes. But on average, whenever we talk about super tough accounts, like the ones that just started, like if you assume that all these accounts told you no in the beginning, what we see is a 5 to 7% conversion on those accounts. Like the yes accounts are just, they are what they are. You're going to get those regardless. But the ones that truly make you money are the ones that say no initially. And we see a conversion of 5 to 7%. But what that represents is, like Eric said, you talking about, you were talking about the Sean Humanchuk product example earlier. That's the account that's let Sean, that's the type of account that's let Sean Humanchuk make $2,000 a month for the past year or so off just one product, right? It's the ones that are more exclusive, that tend to be more guarded and things like that. So, realistically, you could probably assume a normalized rate of, say, 15 to 20% if you included the accounts that are just going to say yes all the time. But if you focus on the ones, the real diamonds in the rough, like the real gems are the ones that tell you no initially. I think 5 to 7% is a fair rate, and those are the ones that pay dividends for a while.
Awesome. Matt says, going into Q4, say you have an item that is selling 100 a month. How much more do you order as a percentage to ensure you're in stock over the peak months? So yeah, for the people who are watching who don't know what Q4 is, it's the fourth quarter, October, November, December. Sales usually spike. So that's got to be a kind of a cool time in your business, right? Where everything starts to sell a lot more. I'm assuming certain products. How do you account for that additional volume?
I'd love to tell you how that we're just maximized efficiently and forecast that well. And I could go on in theory about all these things, but honestly, we don't do a good job of it. We don't take advantage of holidays and Q4s and stuff as much as we used to in retail arbitrage. We get but we don't, the kinds of products we carry get an increase in sales, of course, from Q4. But no, but the thing is, the information's out there with Keepa and things like this. You have historical data for products, so you can go back and look and see what its sales rank was around Q4, and then use your experience in that category for Q4 to realize what kind of increase that would be or something to that effect. But no, we just, we do bump our orders up, but there's no scientific formula that I know of that we particularly use.
No, you got to look at the product. Realistically, it's more product centric. And Eric hit the nail on the head. You really have to focus on that, dial into that research. But let's say toilet paper, for example. If you were selling toilet paper, will you sell more toilet paper in Q4? Yes. And that's just because there are more people on Amazon buying products in Q4.
But nobody abnormally buying it. It's not a gift.
Right.
It's not something that's going to get a true Q4 spike. It's just a Q4 spike on an increase in traffic, not like gifts or seasonal foods or seasonal decorations, things of that nature. They get a huge
those things get all their spike from that kind of thing.
Right.
Awesome. Thanks for the response. Aaron is asking, when you establish credibility with a brand, what do you offer them to build the best relationships, right? So let's just say that maybe someone goes through your course and they're starting to contact the suppliers. How do they build and establish credibility? And then how do they nurture that relationship to start to lock down deals?
I think that's one of the biggest misconceptions is that you have to be able to offer like a buffet of things that people would want. And that's just not the case. What we try to teach our students, and I consider us incredibly successful if we can teach our students how to spot deficiency. Instead of just coming to people with a buffet of items to offer them, what we try to teach is to spot the deficiency that's really holding them back, and then be able to offer that to them, offer a solution in that vein. So if for example, if we see a company that could really use PPC, I want to be able to offer them PPC. I don't want them to have to choose PPC from a variety of things. So I think it's more important that you're able to gauge what the company's looking for and be able to supply them with that than to be able to just have a bevy of things to offer.
Awesome. And we've reached a very pivotal moment in the show right now because we have officially chosen our first $100 winner. Man, just imagine what it's going to be like for this person. They don't even realize that within the next hour, they're going to have $100 cash in their PayPal. It's pretty cool, right? They don't even know, but I know exactly who it is. And I'm going to reveal it right now. Miguel Rolosa. Miguel, you have just won $100 for this question. And Miguel's question is, can you combine wholesaling with retail arbitrage or thrifting? Because sometimes you will find killer deals in stores that will generate the business huge profit, but they don't give an invoice, and that's worrying for FBA issues. So Dan, you want to take this one?
Yeah, for sure. I think it's one of those things, by doing wholesale, you don't have to stop doing the other models. And we don't even advise that. Whenever we got started with wholesale, it was kind of funny. We got started in wholesale in July of 2015 and
14.
Was it 14? No, 2014. Gosh. And,
time's flying.
Yep. Getting older. But we actually did retail arbitrage through the Christmas season that year, and then transitioned to wholesale fully in January of 2015. But yeah, it's as far as combining it, absolutely. You can definitely go. While you're growing your wholesale account, while you're starting, at night, you can start digging up leads and start sending emails to manufacturers. But during the day, if you've got a successful retail arbitrage business, be out there doing retail arbitrage and making yourself some money.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. So Miguel says, I'm going to be ordering a steak. So everybody wants to know what steak you're going to be ordering. I'm thinking you got to get yourself a really nice ribeye with $100. I mean,
cowboy ribeye.
Yeah, the bone-in cowboy ribeye is going to be about where I'm going to be at.
When I was in Corbin, Kentucky, I went to one of your guys' restaurants. It was a bone-in ribeye. I mean, this thing must have been like 4 pounds. I don't know where it was, but it was huge. It was like the freshest steak I've ever had. It literally tasted like it just came off the farm. It was crazy, but
I tell you what, this size over here is when you're able to walk across.
Yeah.
Say that's how you get to be 275 pounds, bro.
That's the way to do it, man. So Miguel, congratulations. I'm still going to be giving away one more $100 cash PayPal. So Miguel, what I need you to do is send me an email at rakeandprofit@gmail.com. Take a screenshot from inside your account on YouTube so I know it's you, and I will hook you up. So yeah, who's going to be the next winner? That's what I'm thinking, guys. Who is going to be?
I guess some of those questions. You got about 10 to 15 more minutes, folks. You got to get those good questions in for $100.
10 or 15 more minutes. So ask some questions. Trends R Us is saying, what are some? Okay, I can't even talk. I'm so excited. I'm thinking about steak now. What are some common deficiencies that you have seen with businesses that we could address and solve for the business? Examples, please.
Sure. Pictures. Anytime you see a product with less than 6 or 7 pictures, I mean, that's immediately a deficiency right there. They should have their full amount of pictures. Yeah. Anytime you see a product without lifestyle shots, that is a huge deficiency. Like people, to be most effective on Amazon, you need to include lifestyle shots that show people using your product. Like most brands don't know this. Bullet points. Anytime you see less than 5 bullet points, an immediate deficiency. Anytime you see product where the bullet points aren't fully filled out and aren't using all the available character space, that's a huge deficiency. Anytime you see somebody with a title that doesn't have the correct keywords and things like that, that's a huge deficiency. Description. Anytime it's not a full description, that's a huge deficiency. Anytime a brand's not using enhanced brand content, that's a huge deficiency. Anytime you go to a product page with and you don't see sponsored ads being run for some of their better keywords, that's a huge deficiency. Anytime you see inconsistent pricing, and that means they probably don't have a map price or any kind of rules governing their pricing, that's a huge deficiency. There's just so many, honestly. Like it's anything that you think might help increase sales or help increase conversion or get their products in front of more people.
Spend an hour or two for everyone watching right now and go through the various listings. Just start going through various categories. You're going to see hundreds and thousands of brands and products that are just deficient of the different things that Dan mentioned. So it's just crazy. A lot of us, we think, well, I'm going to stick to thrifting. I'm going to stick to RA because there's thousands of opportunities. Wholesale's limited. There's not a lot of opportunities. You're crazy to think that there's millions and millions and millions of products. And David Wosick, who did $6.1 million this year, and he has a whole team. He says he can hire another 50 people just to literally sit on Amazon all day long, looking for brands and looking for products that are underserved and there's issues with pictures and keywords and descriptions. He says, I couldn't hire enough people to go out and find products. There's so many opportunities right now with wholesale. It's absolutely ridiculous. So definitely don't feel discouraged. Ray, as the entrepreneur, is asking, do you help inside the Wholesale Formula course? Do you guys help finding a product, or do I have to find a product myself?
No, we actually this is one of the things I really love is rather than teaching, we don't just hand out lists, we don't just hand out leads and things like that. We teach you to use the exact same strategies that we use to find products. Because rather than, whenever we started the Wholesale Formula, like we were thinking about what our ultimate goal was, and it was to create self-sufficient entrepreneurs who had their own businesses and didn't rely on anybody. Because I would hate to be beholden to somebody else with something as important as my business. And what we do is we focus on teaching you how to consistently find leads so you can do it for yourself.
And here's the thing too, is we're still active sellers. If I went through all the trouble to find a profitable product, I would just sell it myself. I'm just saying, like, it's about you constructing the business that works for you, that this is how to do it. This is the theory behind it. This is the practicality behind it. This is how it works, so that you can construct the business that you want. And that's what we've constructed, the business that we want. And the business I don't want is a consulting business where I find products and source them for you. I mean, that's not what I want to do. I don't mean to be rude. I'm just saying, like, that's not, and that's why that's the reason behind it. It's more important to teach you how to do it so that you can construct the business and the products that you want.
How long does it take to go through your guys' course, the Wholesale Formula? And again, for people who are watching right now, if you're interested in joining their course, there is a link down in the description. If you do go through that link, it is an affiliate link. I am an affiliate for this product. Obviously, I do get paid if you do purchase through it. But as an incentive, I'm giving away a $2,497 bonus. So if you're interested in that, I'll talk about it in a couple of minutes. But a couple of people were asking about it. So there's a link down below in the description. But I wanted to ask, and I actually want to mention that we have our second $100 winner. Wow. Another $100 winner. And the winner is Candace Hicks. Great question from Candace. And I had to pick you, Candace, because I feel like what you're talking about in this question is something that so many people struggle with. And it's the fact that your family, your friends, other people in the community are not going to be supportive. They're going to tell you it's not possible. They're going to tell you it's too hard. They're going to tell you you're not smart enough. And Candace is asking, did you have a lot of friends and family that weren't supportive of the business of resale and wholesale in the beginning, AKA not thinking it was an actual career? And if so, how did you respond to them? That is such a great question, Candace, because this is the most, like, one of the most important things. So one of you guys want to jump on that one?
Well, I know Dan met a lot of resistance. I mean, so, and I'm sure he'll tell you.
I didn't know that, Dan.
Yeah. I mean, it was not a happy time for Dan straight away. For me, like I said, I mean, my advice isn't going to be good. I think I'm a little atypical. I just risk has never been, an issue for me. I've been poor and I've had money before, and I like having money better, of course. But so I've always, like, playing poker and things. I've always, risk has never bothered me, but I can understand, the problem with it, and I know, and Dan's going to give you an example that's actually,
Yeah. When we first went full time on the business, my wife was absolutely livid. She didn't think it was a real business model, didn't think it was something that could work, and literally begged me to go get my job back. Like, she was like, seriously, please go get your job back. Like, I can't believe you've done this to us. But it's just one of those things. I
mean, it starts with you too. Like, that's
right.
The thing too. It sounds like, you've got a little lack of confidence, because if you believe in what you're doing, it shouldn't matter what other people. And I know that's a little cliche or whatever, but I mean, it is going to take some amount of conviction, and it's going to take some amount of, like, heckling, if you will. I mean, some amount of disbelief, because, at the end of the day, people would like to have that too. Some of it's going to result from jealousy. So people are going to be upset that you're taking charge of your own destiny in your own life, where they get to go into the same job, week after week, month after month. So there's going to be some of that. So you just take it for what it is, but it's going to have to start from within you. Right.
I mean, that's the key, is you really just have to, whenever you decide to do something like this, you have to make the decision and stay steadfast, regardless of what other people think. And it's not necessarily about proving them wrong so much as proving that you can do it, and not letting other people's opinion affect your confidence levels. But I don't have a great answer. Like, I would suggest explaining to them why it works, how it works. But beyond that, just do it. Like, that's, if this is a model that can make you happy, move forward with the model and prove them wrong later.
Yeah. I mean, I've got a great answer for them. Send them some of my videos. And I'm not just saying that, but, like, that's why I interviewed your guys' students. Like, I wanted to interview real people. Like, at the end of the day, like, talking to you guys is cool, and people love watching you guys, and you guys have already done it. But some people can't relate to somebody who's who's done $20 million. It's too far out there. So that's why I want to interview some of your students who are doing $30,000 a month, 40 a month, 50. A lot of them are doing $100,000 a month. So what I would say is send them some of my interview videos, because my interview videos are very just down the road. I'm grilling them on the good, the bad, the pros and the cons. And, I would start to share with your family and friends some examples of people who are actually having success, because real people are actually having success with this business model. But I think at the end of the day, it all comes down to your commitment. Wholesale's not that complicated. I'm sorry for anyone out there who thinks that, like, starting a wholesale business is the most complicated thing in the world. Like, there's a million other businesses that are like 1,000 times harder. Like, it's really not that complicated. You're literally just finding a deal, you're finding a brand, building a relationship, and that's really it. There's a lot of things in the middle, but I mean, am I oversimplifying things? I mean, obviously there's a lot to it, but it's not very complicated, the business model.
I mean, the simplification of it is the reason that we don't have to work hands-on in our business. We set it up so that we could boil it down to its most simplest form, create procedures for doing that, empower our employees to do it, and that's why we don't have to do it, because we made it simple. It's designed simple in effect, so that it is scalable, it's outsourceable, and then ultimately sellable. Because at the end of the day, a business that requires you or your input means that you have to stay with the business. So you are the property. So we designed it so that simplicity meant that it could be outsourced and replicable over and over again.
Right. I mean, the simplicity is the beauty of the model. Like, that's what allows you to have such leverage in it.
Yep, absolutely. Sorry, guys. I was looking at some of the comments. There's so many questions that are coming through right now. Awake Enlightened says, this is one of the best business models wholesale out there, and there will always be doubters who don't understand. And that's another reason why I've interviewed, like, if you guys look at my channel, I've interviewed like 10 people who are having success with wholesale. Yeah. So many people are having success. Like, people don't think you can make money flipping stuff on eBay. And like, for most people, you're like, really? Like, are you serious? It's like the easiest thing in the world. Like, when you're on the outside looking in, it looks super complicated and it looks like it's not possible. Once you actually do it, you know what I mean? Like, you're reaping those rewards and you understand how it works. So yeah, I definitely wouldn't listen to people who have no experience doing it. Jewel Real Life says that's true. All those interviews were really inspiring. So after this video, I'll link up all those interviews with Emerick, David Wosick, Sean Humanchuk, Ian Bauer's coming on Thursday. Jonathan David's coming on tomorrow. So definitely check that out. But I want to know right now, guys, are you ready to start wholesale? Are you ready to make the decision to change? Again, if you're happy and you're loving life and you're thrifting and you're fine and your business is great and your income levels are great, that's cool. This doesn't go for you. But for the people out there who are ready to change, you're committed, you're hungry, you have that burning desire, you have that why. If you're ready to change, you have got to do something different, right? Go out there and find yourself a mentor, or go find yourself a community, or find yourself a course. I would highly recommend Dan and Eric's course. I've been working with them for over 4 years. I flew in to their office space. I met all their employees. I've seen their numbers. These guys are the real deal. They're living the life. They're not just internet marketers who are putting out courses just to make a bunch of money. I'm sure they have plenty of money already, and I don't think they really need course income right now. But if you're ready to make a change, if you're looking for a system, if you're looking for a model, I would highly encourage checking out the Wholesale Formula. Now, I want to say right now, the course is only open one time this year. One time this year. I'm gonna let you guys talk about it, because I'm not trying to give one of these like little like infomercials of like, oh, you got 24 minutes to buy, da 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 da. Like, you guys are only opening up for what? It closes the 21st.
Right. So for what a lot of people don't know is how much work internally that we put into these workshops. Like, it is literally, to prepare a workshop is literally months for our team to make sure to get all the videos ready, to make sure to get all the emails and all the content that we post. It's just a very dense and tough process. So we did decide this year that we were going to scale back to one major launch per year, and that's this launch. I mean, this will be the only public enrollment for our course this year. And with this workshop, here's how our workshop works. If any of you guys watching this aren't in the workshop, you still have time, and you should 100% go check it out, because it's absolutely free. In that workshop, what we cover is we cover our model. We go over how we find products and how to start contacting suppliers. Like, that free workshop will literally give you the inside look at a $20 million business and how we've been able to kind of grow and scale along the way. But yeah, I mean, and the way our workshop works is that, like Steve said, whenever we start the workshop, we release a video a day. Well, all the videos are currently out right now. Like, if you go sign up for the workshop, you can literally binge watch all 5 days. Mm-hmm. We also have a Facebook group where you can get in there and ask questions. Like, if let's say that you go through the videos and you have some, you get some of those questions like you guys are asking here. Ask them in that group. We're happy to answer them. But all that comes down on the 21st. We don't leave, we're not leaving up the, we don't leave up the videos, and we do take the ability to purchase the course away, because what we do is after the 21st, we take all the people that have enrolled in the course, and our focus is on them. Our focus is on helping them get the results that they want to get, helping to make sure that they're able to actually use the wholesale formula and put that to work in their business.
Yeah, and they actually have a payment plan as well. So, some people are saying, oh, the course is too expensive, this and that. The course is priced according to what one class would cost you in college. And I can tell you right now that These guys are putting 5 years experience in, over 5 years, over $20 million in sales, and everything they know. They've got their teamwork and they've got the community. For the price of one college course, you could learn how to build a full-time wholesale business. Now, of course, results aren't guaranteed, because at the end of the day, results comes down to mostly, are you going to work your ass off? Are you going to put in the hard work? Are you going to study? You're going to learn? You're going to keep pushing forward. But like we've been saying, this isn't some overly complicated business model. So they do have a 30-day refund policy, no questions asked. If you want a refund, they're going to give you your money back. If they don't, I'll give you the money back. That's what I can promise you right now, but I know they will.
Yeah, our refund policy, honestly, like that's another thing I love talking about is our refund.
We've had this talk before when I met up with you guys.
Yeah, it's, if you guys buy our course and there's any reason at all that you want a refund within that first 30 days, all you have to do is send an email. It's really that simple. We don't ask why. There's no conditions. Like, if we realize that sometimes our course isn't a fit for everyone, and if it's not a fit for you, by all means, just ask for your money back, and we're happy to give it to you.
Yeah. So just think about it, guys. If you're looking to change right now in your business, if you're looking to build a business that can earn you $5, $10, $15, $20,000 a month, or even more, obviously it takes time, takes hard work. If you're looking to have your time again, if you're looking to travel, if you're looking to automate your business, if you're looking for something more, check out their course. Again, it's only open till the 21st and it closes, but just want to thank you guys. And again, I do have a bonus as well. So if you want to check that out in the description, feel free to check that out. But Dan and Eric, I want to thank you guys so much for coming on. I know we're running a couple minutes over time, and I'm sure you guys got a bunch of stuff going on, but want to thank you for coming on, and I appreciate you guys. And I really hope people take advantage of this, and I hope that they look into your course, or at least, start looking into wholesale, because I think it's an amazing opportunity in 2019 and moving on over the next decade.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, honestly, I think it is the lowest risk, highest leverage business model that you can get in at this point. Like, whenever you start talking about models that can grow from a $600 investment to $20 million in sales, or, like David Wosick, I'm pretty sure he went from like 1.3 million or something like that to $6 million within a year and a half. Like, you just don't see those types of results with other models. And especially with the low risk barrier that wholesale has. Like, Eric mentioned this earlier. We're not buying thousands and thousands of units of a product and hoping they sell. That's just not what we're doing. We buy products with proven sales histories, and we're just buying 30 days worth of inventory. That means we're just a cash flow based business that is able to send money out and then immediately realize what type of return we're going to get at the end of 30 days. Like, it really is it really is the lowest risk business model that I've found.
Yeah. Well, I want to thank you guys, because you guys have been changing a lot of people's lives. And there's a lot of people out there who, create programs and courses, and they don't really care. They just kind of put it out there and they abandon their students. And there's just a bad rap, especially in the reselling community, about courses, because let's just be real. There's so many people who put out courses and they suck. They don't live the life. They're just internet marketers. I'm being real. I'm not holding back my tongue. I'm being honest. And, you guys are one of the few people who actually do care. And I've been in your program for, I think it's over 3 years now. You guys answer all your questions. You're really in there. You care. We've met in real life. We had a lot of, deep conversations behind the scenes. And I can tell you right now, these guys are the real deal. If you're looking to take your business to the next level, this is it. I think this is a great opportunity, and I hope you guys take advantage of it. Again, the course does close the 21st. They have a 30-day money-back guarantee. I'm throwing in over $2,400 worth of free bonuses. I'm also throwing in $100 cash. So that's like a little discount code for you guys if you go through my link. But I believe in you guys. I believe in Dan and Eric. And I know for a fact you guys will be in great hands. This is I think my 4th year promoting you guys. So 3,000 students later, you guys have helped your students make over $500 million. Just ask anybody who's taken the course, watch any of my wholesale videos where I interview the students, and you'll learn quite quickly that this isn't just a sales pitch. This isn't just me being an affiliate. This is something that is real and that could change your life. So with that being said, guys, I appreciate you watching. Dan and Eric, everybody, thank you. And we'll see you in the next video. Bye.